Hello, everyone. We are here at 7-ish on the Black Multiverse Theory podcast. I believe this is episode 87. It's been a wild week.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
Okay, so I'll start with my last week. Was there's a lot going on. We are getting ready for the Harriet Humongous Hair book launch, and then we're excited to be also partnering with Oodle Noodle for a project tomorrow, actually. And then we also have the Afro Indie Book Fair coming up, and I totally geeked out and got a chance to talk to Desmond Cole on the telly and just kind of explain to him what we were doing and invite him to come participate. He was totally stoked and said yes. So the Afro Indie Book Fair We Lit will be on March 6th, and we've officially booked all of our big headliners. So Sun Machos a go. We also have Dr. Charmaine Nelson and the Honorable Desmond Cole. Can I call him that? Or is that like an official title? I think you have to be a judge to be the Honorable, right?
Maybe, or maybe just somebody who's been honored.
Yeah, perhaps. He is the winner of the Toronto Literary Award.
Ooh.
So, yeah, he's a big deal in Canada.
Okay.
So how was your last week?
Everything was great. Not too much happened last week. It's just regular work, going through stuff. Very excited to start a Black health and wellness portion to the aphrodisiac area. So the offices next to us will soon house mental health therapists and physical therapists for people who want to, support the Black community and want to be where Black people are.
My clients are very excited about this.
So it's gonna be really a fun time, and if you are a Black therapist and you are looking for an inexpensive area, we have a few spots left. So yeah, come and check it out.
Yes, for sure. And you'll contact Nigel directly. You want to put it? You guys know how to get him. If you're watching him now, you should know how to get him.
Yeah, probably just hit me up on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I should be able to see it right away.
Okay. You have something else coming up. You guys are working on
Gospel Night.
Gospel Night. That is exciting.
We the NBCC, one of their flagship projects is Gospel Night. And this year, because of our pandemic situation, we have been kind of corralled into a lovely virtual online version of the Gospel Night, which is great. Unfortunately, the Jude closed down most, if not all, of its performances until further notice. So where we normally be, we can't go there. So we joined up with some of the biggest heavy hitters of gospel music in Edmonton, from the likes of Cameron Brown, which I call he don't play around Cameron Brown.
Naturally.
We also have Ian Bramble, Colin Ford from NSOP, New Season of Praise.
Nice.
From Essence of Praise, Barrington Simpson,
He is a legend.
And from Mela Freak, Enoch is also there with
my good friend Enoch. Enoch, if you happen to see this, I have to call you. I know, sorry.
So we have been setting up quite a few things to allow us to make some big moves. But I think at the beginning of this podcast, I lied. This week has been full of things.
I'm like, you've got bad stuff going on. You're like, yeah, it's pretty regular. I'm like, okay.
It is regular, but
it's pretty normal that we have a lot of things happening.
It's regular for Black History Month, for February.
It's February, correct.
It's February, so a lot of people are reaching out.
Yeah.
So
Joanna was like, girl, you're on fire. I'm like, no, it's just February. She's like, oh. Yeah, thanks, though.
So that Gospel Night is the first thing. We are looking at February 27th. Mm-hmm. So yes, still in this month. At the end of the month, look out for Facebook. It will be, I believe, on YouTube Live.
Nice.
We'll be putting up all the places where you are able to contact people to see what time. We'll be putting up posters. For those people who are in this COVID time, who are not yet computer savvy and have decided, I don't need a computer.
Nah.
Maybe it might be your grandfather, your grandma, it could be just a friend, it could be a family member, it could be anybody. Please let them know that this is happening. Let's spread the word and get it out. It's usually a really good time. And we'll be hearing from most of the normal, usual people. We will be hearing from them in some way, form, or fashion.
Cool.
Checking in on everybody during COVID times to make sure that everything is great.
Yes.
Also, this week we did some more stuff.
What else?
We had an interview.
Yes. CKUA gave us a call, and we talked about Melanistic Magazine, which is another thing that we had going on this week, which is we released our 1-year issue of Melanistic. It actually hit newsstands or your favorite retailers on Friday, and if you go to melanisticmagazine.com, you'll be able to read it. It's very beautiful. One of the best pictures I've ever taken in my whole life is in that magazine.
Wow, one of the best pictures you've ever taken in your whole life.
Top 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like it.
Definitely, I would say. Yeah.
When
I saw it, I was like, the thing about Ira Glass says this is that he's like, the thing about being an artist of any kind is that oftentimes what's going on in your head is challenging to reach physically outside of your body. And the only thing that brings that together, like creativity and then actually what you produce, is practice. That's the thing that binds those together.
Right.
So the more you practice, the more what you produce becomes what you thought of in your head. So
right.
that was the moment that I felt like I had arrived. When I saw, actually it's the picture of Yvonne in the opening of YMBE, the message to my young Black entrepreneurs 2021. So
nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Melanistic Magazine, please pick up what you can pick up.
Yeah, go get
pick
it.
Pick up as much as you can. Hand it out to friends and family. It is a free magazine.
We are up to 60 pages.
We're up to 60 pages, and we are rolling. It is on fire. This particular edition of the magazine, this volume, is amazing.
It is.
It is award-winning.
For sure.
It is great. So, grab yours. Read my stuff. Go read my stuff that I do in there, and that's it.
And also check out ckua.ca maybe.
Yes.
But if you just Google CKUA, it'll come up. I don't know what the things are. what the address location is, but
I
we're
think I
on there
saw.
on interview.
I think I saw Greg Davis, our publisher for Melanistic Magazine. He actually put the link on my wall.
Okay, it's up there. So if you're watching this on Nudge's wall, you should be able to see it. If you're watching it on my wall, I believe he tagged us both in his post, so it's on our walls pretty much. But we'll share it in the other places. Go check them out.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna push for that 30-minute takeover. So we're gonna talk to.
We're gonna try and take it over.
Grant, who I call G Money.
G Money. We also did an interview earlier this week with the Calgary Public Library.
Oh yeah, we were live with the Calgary Public Library.
Instagram.
You didn't see me there. You just saw Nigel and me being like.
But you felt her presence. Anytime you saw me do this, what?
I'm live.
Yes, definitely.
I was like 3 p.m. Just throwing the details. But what I've learned is that we need to get like a whiteboard so that I can stand behind the camera and write the answers on the whiteboard.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna work out the situation, this teleprompter situation, as
we are transiting into television,
media.
We are going into television. Is what we're going to take over,
and radio.
We are taking over television and radio because that's what we do. We are
infiltrating. So there's a lot of like overlap stuff coming up, you guys. Just so that you know, you're going to be like, why do Black people always do stuff on the same day? So this year, on the 15th, we have Harriet's Humongous Hair read along. So you can go to Eventbrite and register for that. Mm-hmm. And then we have on the 27th, we have Gospel Night, but we also have Afro Quiz on the 27th. And I think that will be earlier in the day. And then we have not only We Lit on March 6th, but hopefully, if the world is open, also the opening of the Alberta Gallery. What's that gallery called? But it's Black Every Day, 5 Artists, One Love. 15th anniversary celebration. Are these numbers right?
I believe it's the 15th. It's the 15th.
Okay.
And it's at the AGA, which is
the
Alberta.
AGA.
Yeah.
So that is grand opening on March 6th as well. So stay tuned for what they're going to be doing for that. Maybe we should just dress up fancy and get on Zoom together. Okay.
Yeah.
Every time I suggest that, my friends are like, I'm like, you guys, any way that I could possibly be social.
So, yeah, that's what we had.
That's what we got. That was our last week and also our upcoming.
Yeah. So, with that, if you have any other events, please push them this way. We also take events. If you have events that you need or you want posted in Melanistic Magazine
on .com.
And
the thing?
Yeah, just send it in to the email address.
It's Derodene, DERODENE at aphrodisiacnaturals.com or melanisticmagazine@gmail.com. Either way, we'll get it into the calendar.
We will try to get it into the calendar.
Well, we're going to have a live online melanisticmagazine.com calendar. So that will be able to be a living document, which is why it exists. And then we'll be able to harvest from that and put that into the magazine.
Boom.
But we don't know, and we can't say it if we can't say it, if you don't tell us.
Yes. Please,
turns out.
Please let us know what is happening, how it is happening, all of the good stuff.
Yes. Okay. Moving on to the scroll.
So on the scroll this week, we have more about Chloe Bailey.
What's going on with Chloe Bailey?
Chloe Bailey. Chloe Bailey.
What's wrong with you?
She's, she had her time, and she's been dancing. A lot of people are like, she's a young woman. Let her be free to do young woman stuff. Mm-hmm. So Trey Songz came out and said, yeah, I agree. And so we have a huge social dilemma because Chloe Bailey danced, doing the busset challenge first, and then doing the silhouette challenge, which are challenges where your clothes are on. It's just it's very provocative.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Trey Songz came up with a whole tape, like a whole sex tape.
Mm-hmm.
So people are like, "Wow, this, good on you," to Trey Songz, and a lot of women were like, "Yeah, I wish I was there." There were a lot of comments like that. But then you get Chloe Bailey, who they're like, "Wow, you're a tramp for doing these."
Oh.
So there's a huge
double standard
in our social structure.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was talking about last week. Because I was like, why are we talking about this girl dancing online when everybody's dancing online? It's not like dancing online. People are really waking up and dancing online. I look at those challenges where they like do those things, like that challenges, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, this person started this video, put their phone down, did their makeup, did those braids, did their hair, laid their edges, changed their clothes, and then finished the video. I hope they went somewhere.
No, they sat around.
They did that for the video.
There was one silhouette challenge that was sent to me, where the lady, she's in her nightgown, in her ballroom gown, not in her ballroom, but her nighttime apparel with her bonnet on and no makeup or anything. And the music starts real slow, and then when the beat drops, all the lights turn down, and it's just a red light in the background. You see her silhouette, and she's trying to be sexy, and her little boy comes in. He's like, "What are you doing out there,
Mom?
Why you posing like
you
that?
Didn't hear me calling
He's
you?"
Like, "Get out!" She's like, "Get out! Get your stuff! Get your stuff! You're leaving! Get out!" She kicked that little boy out, and I think his sister started jumping on the bed in the back.
Yeah.
He's like, "Both of you get out! You get out!" She was so mad. She couldn't even do the challenge.
This last week was the Super Bowl.
Super duper.
Did you watch it?
Me? No. This is the first year I did not watch it.
Oh, really? I do like Super Bowl parties more than I like football.
The reason I didn't watch it this year, gentlemen, and ladies who are football fans, is because I was working.
Okay.
I was at work trying to wrap up a project and then got dragged to another project.
Wow.
So, yeah, it did not work out in my favor.
Okay. I also did not watch it because I, too, was working. And the Buccaneers won.
The Bucks!
Who apparently Tom Brady is playing for? I don't know what timeline we're in.
Yeah, you got traded.
What?
Which is
I was so confused.
Which is funny, and then he's there with the Bucks, and his previous team is all looking. They didn't even make the time frame. They're watching it from home. They're watching their previous quarterback with the ring running down. That's great.
Yep.
And yeah.
I don't even know who they played, if I'm really honest with you. Greg was like, "Hey, what do you think? I heard the Super Bowl is going to be." I'm like, "It's not."
The bone?
Yeah, it was not happening. But yeah. So congratulations to the Buccaneers. Who's that? Cleveland? Who's that? When you guys don't understand. When you guys were like, we canceled the NFL, I stopped. And now all of that information has been offloaded. Like,
so here's just to let you know, is
Milwaukee Buccaneers?
It's the Buccaneers versus
is it
the
Milwaukee?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. Are the Buccaneers a Milwaukee team?
Buccaneers. I know the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, Tom Brady won, not the Buccaneers. So Tom Brady plays for Tampa Bay. Thanks, Greg.
Greg's gonna make sure.
I'm like, congratulations, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Greg's like, that's not what happened.
Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buccaneers. So the Buccaneers Uh,
Greg
that it
said
was
Tom
9 to
Brady won.
31,
Holy wow, that is a lot of points.
and he's right.
Hi, Ronald.
He's right. He's right. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tom Brady's garbage. I hate him. Like as a person.
For a person who knows very minimal about a lot of football,
but I know Marco. I know Marco.
Very strong opinion about this young man.
Yes, I didn't say anything about his football playing. I know Marco and Tom Brady. He is a trumpetster, like big time, and I think he wears Uggs also.
Okay, great. You know what? I'm glad.
I'm judging.
You know,
obviously.
I'm very happy with score 9 to 31. So very interesting because I don't think Kansas City scored a touchdown the whole time.
This is all tries or whatever that is.
They got kicks, so they got three kicks,
mm-hmm.
and there was a touchdown, and then another 2 touchdowns for the Buccaneers.
Oh, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is that right? Yeah.
So he's trying to tell you that the Buccaneers won, but it was Tom Brady who really won. Like it was all Tom Brady. It was not really.
I understand now.
You get it now?
I thought you were trying to say that Tom Brady's not playing for the Buccaneers and he's actually playing for Tampa Bay, and it was Tampa Bay. And it was Tampa Bay that won.
Excruciating. Greg, I don't even know why you started.
Let me tell you, when I don't pay attention to something, boy, it is not there. Also, this week on the scroll, I think it may have been last week, maybe it has bled into this week, pun intended. A young lady applied Gorilla Glue to her hair to slick it down instead of Gorilla Snot. I can understand. I can understand the difference, right?
The misunderstanding. You understand?
I can see how it's a mix-up.
Nope, not at all.
I can.
Because if you could read Gorilla Glue, you could also read the instructions for Gorilla Glue.
They are very different.
There's a huge warning label on there that says, do not
contact with skin.
This lady had beautiful, and I say had, because I don't know what's going to happen after this, but she had beautiful black natural hair. She wanted to slick it down. Mm-hmm. When I say slick, she wanted it pressed down to her head.
That Aaliyah.
So instead of using Gorilla Snot, which is actually a formula made for
hair.
Hair.
Is it?
Especially. Yes.
I didn't know.
Especially.
All gel is made for white hair.
Hair.
But that's what it is, Greg, and it has ultra hold Gorilla Snot. Chiral has said that she used it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's made for it, but other people have used it before because it has a hold. So she decided to put the spray can Gorilla Glue multi-purpose on live on Instagram.
She did it on the air?
Yeah. There's many videos of her doing this.
I didn't know she was doing it on the air.
And then the video comes back, and we are now 3 weeks later, and it has
stuck to her
scalp itself.
Yeah.
To get it off, a lot of the chemicals used to get rid of Gorilla Glue will probably kill her if they try to I'm guessing that it would go through her scalp even. Like in my brain, I'm like, soak it in Goo Gone. Yeah. It won't get it off? Goo Gone? It might. Goo Gone Goo Gone gets glue off of everything. Let me just tell you, all that hair she took all those years to grow, it's gone. It's gonna be Goo Gone. The thing I'm trying not to think about is her hair follicles just being ultra ingrown. Oh man. But there's also a conversation online about black women particularly being extra shamed, and if this young lady actually deserves, like, I feel like you're a lot more lenient to black women, which I understand. I totally get it.
I'm saying this is the conversation. Granted, the algorithm means that I'm in the room with the conversation happening, but this is the conversation. If we should
it is a hard one for me, unfortunately.
She has raised. It's not a hard one for the $10,000 she's raised on GoFundMe. So
I wish.
Yeah, Tanya hopes she wins a lawsuit. I'm like, listen, if you ever put perm in your head, then you cannot stand here and judge. And I'm standing by that. No. And that's on period, Pooh. What else you got?
Right? Okay. If y'all get a chance, one of the cutest things on the scroll is a gentleman on there who asks questions to young children, and no matter what they answer,
he says, "All right, good job."
He says, "All right, good job." So sometimes I do that. It is on purpose when I do that.
That's when, yes.
It is hilarious to me.
Okay.
But if you're following the guy, he usually asks children, and now he's expanded to ask teachers.
Yeah. He does.
Probably the same teachers that are working with those same children.
Did you see what it was? A Boston Market sponsored ad, but did you see when he tried to prank Jabria with the spicy
with the
sour?
Spicy, and she ate it,
and she's like, "It's spicy, but it's good."
It's spicy, but she tried to get that buddy. You think she's stupid?
It's spicy, but it's good.
It's spicy, but it's good. You say good? Good job.
He was a fail.
Yeah, he thought she was gonna prank it because it was spicy. She thought it
was not happening.
He didn't. But no, she's like, it's spicy, but it's good.
It's
she
good.
Smiled right at the camera.
Right at the camera with her chicken sandwich.
I was like,
she's so cute.
Buddy, girl.
Truly.
She's hilarious. And the other children, because for me, they always start with her because she's very extroverted.
That's his god niece or something, god sister. Or something.
And he starts off everyone. He says, "Hey, are you smart?" And she's like, "Yes." Yeah, she's like really extra
sassy.
Like, yeah, of course. And then the other friends, the one girl, he goes to one girl this time around. He said, "Hey, how long is a decade?" And she's like, "It's about 4 inches." And she holds up her little hands like this. And I died. She said, "It's about 4 inches." Good job.
That was when he said, "Who's Martin Luther King Jr.?" Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And she's like, "He didn't want to sit. He didn't want to stand. He didn't want to walk. And that's on period, Pooh."
You don't want to do nothing.
Nothing.
But she's really good.
What else you got?
Well, on the scroll, the other thing we have on the scroll is just recently a lady by the name of Sabrina Pacchioni.
Okay.
No, that's not her last name.
Okay.
Sorry. It was Sabrina. Sorry, I can remember her last name. I just made it up. But
all right. Okay. Good job.
But Sabrina is gone public about T.I. and Tiny.
Yes, I think it's Patterson. Yeah, so their T.I. and Tiny's show is suspended. It's called, what is it called? Something with T.I. and Tiny.
T.I. and Tiny, isn't it? T.I. and Tiny?
Yeah, but they always have
I'll let you know
a byline.
I'll let you know in a minute what it's called.
Anyway, so T.I. and Tiny, their show is suspended amidst we should trigger warning this. So trigger warning.
T.I. and Tiny, the family hustle.
The family hustle. Let's take a moment. So the next part of the segment is going to deal with sexual abuse and coercion and rape. So we'll just give you guys a second. If this is not your thing, you can log off or whatever. But we'll probably be in here for about 5 minutes. So check back.
Check back in 5 minutes.
All right. So apparently there have been some sexual assault allegations against T.I. and Tiny, specifically that they prey on young strippers. Pretty much, they pick them up at the strip clubs and then typically um, invite them back to their hotel or their private place. Usually, they know that they're going to get money, and some girls are surprised that when they get there, they're expected to have sex with everybody. But what is kind of the thoroughfare of all of these allegations is that they are coerced into or force fed drugs or expected to take drugs, and then they black out, and then they wake up like sore or bruised or what have you. And some of these women have ongoing consensual um, sexual relationships with the both of them. So it's hard to tease. Like, I guess for me, it's not hard to tease out because, like, if selling sex was my job, for example, right? And I show up to work and somebody's like, "Yo, you have to take these drugs in order to work," and that's $3,000 on the table, right? Who knows what I have going on the other side of things? Who knows what I have going on at home? Like, so like I can't necessarily in my heart I'm not like, why would they do that? Why would they take it? Because I also, as having been a young woman at one time, I know what it's like to be in situations where you feel like because of the people there, it's like a peer pressure thing, or you don't want to lose an opportunity, or whatever have you. But it is many of and as per Tanya, you can't consent if you're under the influence. For me, you can't consent if you're unconscious, right? So like I feel like even if I was coming to sell sex at the point that I'm unconscious, the deal's off, bro. And the other thing about rape, particularly, we know that it's not about the sex per se, but it's actually about the power. So these women, like some of them, are perfectly willing to be there having consensual sex for pay, and then they just want the additional power over them of like knocking them out or drugging them. So it's like not actually about that sexual portion of it. It's just about like the power portion of it. Ti did say that they were consensual adults making consensual decisions, and no one has been arrested. No warrants have been filed. There's just a lot of investigation. So, what do you think?
Yeah. It's a very touchy subject. I'm always very leery of people taking advantage of other people, whether it's a celebrity taking advantage of a person, or a person taking advantage of a celebrity, um, especially um, in the day and age that we live in now, where everybody gets their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
By dogging and making other people look bad. It's one of the things that is very commonplace. In looking at that, I understand that rape is not tolerated in our society. It is not something that we are supposed to be tolerant of. There are laws that we have put in place. There are things that we have thrown together so that a person caught in the act of rape, or a person that has been suspected of raping another person, there are laws that we have in place against that. So I don't think it's something that we condone, or we should condone at all. But at the same time, we all have to. At the same time, there's also the point where there's a lot of women who do take advantage of situations, and there are a lot of celebrities that take advantage of situations. So when people take advantage of each other in any type of relationship, it leads to a very bad deal. And you see that all the time when people fake pregnancies, or they, which has happened to a lot of people. So, or they like what's his name, Bill Cosby, who got people to come up to his room late at night and then drug them. So against their knowledge and against their will. There's also the fact that people can get into situations that they weren't expecting and then want to back out at the last second, at the last minute, or they want to jump out, and they are unable to. In this situation, I didn't read the articles, and I definitely wasn't there. So I don't know all the information on it, but I feel like the first situation where they're like, okay, do these drugs, or else you're not coming inside, don't go inside. But if you do go inside and then you change your mind, you should be allowed to leave at any time. So the security guard should have been able to get your purse, your phone, whatever, and then you get an Uber, you get a taxi, you drive your own car and go home. But I get it.
So one of the things when we were talking about this for the show, one of the things that we were talking about is power imbalances, and that my thinking is that there's times where to me particularly, men don't take in consideration the power balance that is going on sometimes, that causes people, including women, to do things that they don't want to do to avoid even worse things happening in their lives. And I don't know what the reason people make any decision ever is, to be honest with you. But I also, like, in reading it, I could see how, you're praying when they're choosing these women, right? So if you're choosing the women, like, who you're picking out of the crowd, and you know why you're picking them out. So that is also part of the things that, like, ooh, it didn't sit well with me. Yes, you have to be able to withdraw consent at any portion of time, but at the same time, like, coercion is a real thing in terms of, like, power imbalances and whatnot. So
I look at the situation, I realize that many times when you read a story like this, especially women who read a story about other women, they do empathize, and they do put themselves in the situation of the current woman that is there, and it drums up a lot of emotions and feelings, which are very real when they look at it. So even when we were talking about this earlier, there were a lot of emotions and feelings that I wasn't feeling. I was just looking at facts. So I was like, okay. So according to what was read to me, this is what happened. This is how it happened.
Facts don't exist in a vacuum, though.
I'm like, why didn't she just go home?
You're looking at facts from your perspective, right?
Sure, and you are also looking at those same facts from the perspective
of me, right? But also, these are young women. So me, also a woman, can understand the situation in a different way than a man who's looking at the situation, who's just looking at facts, which is like this thing that men say to make them feel like they're emotionlessly looking at something and it's somehow more valuable. There's a piece of fact missing, which is the emotional part of it. And so, yeah, there is an empathizing because it's out of actual personal experience. Like, oh wow, I know the feeling of being in a situation and doing something that you don't want to do in a way that's coerced, but it's not like physically forcing something down your throat. But in the same time, you're drinking. Why did I drink? I didn't really want to drink, or what have you. So I guess I can understand if you're looking at the situation and you're missing that whole portion of it, like, you're going to come to a different conclusion. But as we also did say, that these are allegations and it is under investigation, and while their show is suspended, there have been no warrants issued. So
yeah, we'll see what happens, how it goes through. So it is what it is, and just to be on the record, nobody ever tells you facts to make it more valid. It's just what it is.
I'm talking about there's a thing that happens where people believe that taking an emotion out
but
of
in this
thing,
particular scenario, it's
taking
not that thing.
taking an emotion out of something doesn't make it doesn't make your viewpoint more valid.
Totally. And that's
my
not
point.
happening today.
Okay.
That's not a thing.
All right.
All right. So, other than that, we had the screen.
Yeah. So what are you watching?
On the screen, we have, well, we're continuing with the Warriors season 2 of the Warriors. For those of you who have been watching the Warriors, the Kung Fu Kicker of the Warriors, it is getting deeper and deeper with every episode.
Yeah. So there's a new guy in town who seems to be a better fighter than our protagonist, and everything's all messed up.
So recommend that one for us to continue watching. We have not finished that season, even though it's a binge-worthy season.
Yeah.
The Expanse, I was reading an article about Drummer in The Expanse, which is another show we've been watching. And with Expanse, Drummer is she used to be the second in command for Mr. Jackson. Your favorite character.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Right. So she is actually an amalgamation of multiple characters from the book.
Oh.
So they've taken. There's one guy who broke his back, and that's her. And then there's another girl who was very important in the book, and her character actually was a background character.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So they pulled her forward pretty much.
So they pulled her forward, and then that girl is on her ship right now. The character is on her ship, but she's playing the role of that character from the book.
So they have to figure out how to tease this out now.
Yeah, well,
they'll
probably kill everybody. Who knows what's going to happen?
They'll just kill everybody.
So, yeah, so The Expanse is really intense. If you're watching The Expanse, please go forward, finish that Expanse. It's great.
I don't think I finished the season. Right?
No.
There's still more.
No, there's...
I don't like to watch them one at a time.
Yes.
So I like to save them up.
Also, we've been watching... I think we finished The Tick.
Yeah, we did.
So, also, there was a movie we watched.
You've been watching WandaVision. Talk about that.
So, WandaVision, the first 2 episodes take place in the 1950s, in like a 1950s sitcom. Very much like I Love Lucy or Bewitched from that era of the 60s. And then, I watched the first 2 episodes and I'm like, this is really weird. Isn't that guy dead? What happened here? It's just a bunch of people doing a sitcom with Wanda. But then as you keep going, you get into the second episode. I stopped watching. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Anything that happened in the 50s didn't end up really well for black people anyways. So I'm like...
I'm like, Dean Martin there.
I'm like, ugh. So then I go back to watch it, and time skips ahead in the show, and now the television show is now for the 70s. It wasn't until Greg came and was like, I've been watching WandaVision.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I was like, you have to finish it? A bunch of people on my wall were like, WandaVision, OMG. I was watching it. So.
It was interesting. Greg even said there was like a 7-hour forum where people were like talking about it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me go back and continue watching. So it went into the 70s and then it jumped into the 80s. And then you're like, okay. And then certain things start to
glitch out.
And then once again, as I said, it didn't end up well for the one black lady that's in the show. She got tossed out. She didn't get killed, but she got tossed out, but she ended up realizing
what was going on.
Yeah, there's something else going on there. And then the end is such a wild ride. If you know about Marvel versus Sony, Sony has the contract for like half, or had the contract at one point for like half of Marvel movies. So, and then there was Marvel itself. So you had shows like the Avengers and stuff like that, but then you had other shows like X-Men. And so X-Men, you never saw them really cross universes. So you've never ever seen Wolverine in
that's why.
Avengers.
Got you.
And that's because Marvel and Sony owned
different parts.
Different parts, right? So it wasn't until recently that they went
Disney
ahead
got their stuff.
They went ahead and bought the thing. And then they were about to bring them together, and then something happened with Spider-Man. And Spider-Man is usually the character that crosses into everybody. So you saw Spider-Man with Avengers, but Spider-Man has also been with X-Men. He's also done stuff with Wolverine. He's done stuff with Deadpool. So all these movies you saw happen.
Oh, okay.
You see Spider-Man, and once they got Spider-Man in, they're like, oh, okay, this is what we're gonna do.
Right.
So one of the glitches is with WandaVision is when you watch the Avengers. I believe it wasn't Winter Soldier. It was. I think it was right before Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
No. It was Winter Soldier.
Okay.
And that's when they went to Wachovia, and they blew up an entire. Not Wachovia.
Wakanda?
No, I'm close. It's close to Wachovia. Anyways, that's where she's from, where Wanda's from.
Okay.
And her brother was Quicksilver.
Right.
So they show him running, and he dies at the end of the movie. If you haven't seen it, sorry, that was a
spoiler alert, but it's been a while.
It's been quite a few years. Since
so honestly,
so I'm sorry, kind of behind it. So he dies at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then X-Men came out with theirs and brought in the same character, but a different guy acting as that character.
Okay.
And he was there, and it was really cool how they did. He was running, and then everything paused, and he ran up the wall and ran around. That was a long but
you were like, it's Quicksilver, and I was like, okay. But I recognize where I recognize him from. He was from like the Young X-Men.
So one of the first things you notice right now is the cross between
the X-Men and the
X-Men
Wanda.
at this point.
So that's what people were like OMG about.
Yes, everybody's like, oh, what?
I thought the OMG was about it existing in her brain. And then that's why when they were like, does she have a brother?
If you are hearing what she's saying,
I have not watched it.
Please disregard.
I haven't watched it, you guys.
She hasn't watched it.
I just watched.
She's not giving you anything. Go watch your show.
I'm making stuff up. I've not watched it, honestly. This is all from like secondhand, 100%.
Greg's the Age of Ultron. Thank you. It's Age of Ultron. So
I put it up on the screen.
That's basically what the big to do was, like right at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
For me especially, I was like, what? Other things were like interesting, throughout. I'm not going to give it all away. But you have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but then most people don't know there's also S.H.I.E.L.D. and then there's S.W.O.R.D. So that's another group. But the S.W.O.R.D. is more of S.H.I.E.L.D. is more of protecting the Earth. And S.W.O.R.D. is more of killing any alien that comes in to kill the Earth. And so you get to really see the development of these new characters.
Oh, like this reminds me of when I tried to make stocks interesting enough too.
I guess for some people, yes.
Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, so the whole universe was hilarious. But that's the show.
Mm-hmm.
I watched. I've been watching every week, and I haven't been saying anything, but I've decided to let everybody know. Every week, I've been watching a classic, what we call a classic black movie.
Okay.
So last week, or a classic movie in general.
Bum, bum,
So last week I watched Golden Child.
Oh yeah.
The week before that I watched Double
I
Dragon.
Nice.
And then this week I watched Beverly Hills Cop. What? So yeah.
That gray sweater, denim, white sneakers vibe.
Yeah. He did that a lot in the movie, which was hilarious because he repeats it again. I believe in the second and the third. I would like to see him do that movie again.
I feel like he really loved that push-up sleeve situation. He rocked that like often.
What's wrong with the push-up sleeve?
Okay, so moving on to
what's wrong with the push-up sleeve situation? Okay, fine.
It means you're ready to get to it.
So that's basically it for the screen. We did watch another movie. I did watch another movie. I just don't know what it was. It was the Korean
space one.
The Korean movie. It's called Space Sweepers. Space Sweepers is on Netflix. It was a very interesting movie.
It was very Korean.
Yes.
In many themes.
Yes. So it's very. The bad guy is like British.
Yeah.
He looked a lot like Hugh Jackman.
He looked like Hugh Doppelganger. Hugh Jackman's doppelganger.
Hugh Jackman. So he was there. And it was
no,
very.
It's Hugh Jackman. The J is silent.
No, it's not.
No, him though. Just like Hugh Jackman. Like no, it's Hugh Jackman.
That guy, he reminds me of him, but like a younger version.
Different, like alternate universe. Bizarro world.
It's very interesting.
It's the universe where Hugh Jackman's like not Wolverine, but he's in Korea doing movies.
And the funny thing, the only critique I have about this movie is that the movie itself, tries to do a lot in one movie. It's got robotics.
It's many things. That's why I said many themes.
It's got nanites. It's got terraforming. It's got spaceships. It's got samurai swords, hatchet men, robots, more robots,
and dreadlocks.
Oh yeah, there was the Korean guy with some locks in there.
Yeah, it was all happening,
which was very interesting. There's one more thing they had in there that I needed to say.
I'm sorry. Roblox?
No, it had it had robots. It had nanites,
terraforming, hatchet men,
swordsmen, gunplay, and spaceships. Lots of ships, and a bomb. Lots of guns.
Some gambling.
There was lots of gambling. Oh, and children. Lots of orphans, orphan children. So it was like
there's many things in one.
And death, lots of death in there as well.
It happened.
So it's great.
Sounds good. What are you listening to?
Right now, whoa! I am listening to a lot of the oldies, but I've gone into an Arlo Maverick.
Nice.
Our local superstar artist, Arlo.
He's got sweatshirts of all different colors now.
They are supposed to be custom, so you're able to
get whatever.
Talk about what colors.
Color combo
You can get, yeah. So I saw Cheryl Leslie on.
Now I'm thinking I should get an aphrodisiac color combo, like tan with like turquoise. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Barbados colors for Cheryl Leslie. I believe there's Trinidad colors for Cheryl, and other people had many other.
Darren Jordan had the pink one.
You had a pink one? Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots and lots you can have. Go out and support our local artists.
Correct. I'm listening to very much Burna Boy for some reason. Yeah, it's like all the things. Like it has a beat, but it's like soothing, but it's not. It doesn't harass me. So that is what has been going on currently with myself.
Burna Boy.
Burna Boy.
Mm-hmm.
What else? That's it.
That's it. You got a word for us today?
Let me put something together in my brains.
I think we have to fix this thing.
I think my word today. Mm-hmm. We're almost done. I'll get us to the end. My word today is about showing up for yourself. So we have talked a lot about self-care.
Right.
This one will be setting boundaries, especially if you're out there and you are a small business owner, you are an entrepreneur. It's okay that your time costs a bit of money. It's okay that you decide where to invest your time when you're bringing on new projects or thinking about bringing on new projects. All that stuff is okay. Your time is the only thing you have in life. Like money, everything else you have, people have just traded it for your time. If you're watching something, you get to watch YouTube for free because you're trading your attention in the ads. That's why you have to pay for ad free, because you get your time back, right? So time literally is money. So make sure you're showing up for yourself in a way that respects and honors your time. That's it. That's what I got.
That is a good one. Honor your time.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, thank you for tuning in. This is episode 87, question mark, of the Black Multiverse Theory podcast. We will see you again next week.